Welcome back, and welcome to Tupac Martir, right? Tupac is the founder and creative director for Satori Studios. Welcome to the Avixa TV studio.
Wow.
You like it?
I like it.
Are you impressed?
Yeah, I am impressed, yes. Nice Unreal World.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. Tupac, this isn't your first time at ISE. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what brings you to the show this year.
So I consider myself an internet user, first and foremost.
Okay, like most of us.
Yeah, but people say that you are what you do the most.
Yes.
And so I am an internet user. I'm also an artist. I run a studio called Satori.
Okay.
And this is actually my first time at ISE in Barcelona.
Oh, right.
My last time I was the keynote speaker of 2019.
Okay.
Where I actually showcase how you could use virtual production in real time in spaces as part of my keynote.
Nice.
Yeah.
At the Rye in Amsterdam.
Yes, indeed.
Wonderful. So I believe you recently started a new podcast called the Glyph Podcast. Is that correct? What's a glyph? And, can you tell us a little bit more about what you talk about?
So glyph is any type of symbol or character that exists. You see it in Egyptian pyramids, or you can see it maybe in Romans, or you can see it in all sorts of places, right? And so that's the glyph, because at the end of the day, the podcast is about all these people who you have no idea that they exist, right? And yet you've probably seen, heard, read their work, because they've actually gone through behind the scenes and created an entire element that you get to see normally without ever thinking about it. Like when Beyonce goes on stage, you don't think, who wrote the processor that runs that LED screen?
Yeah.
You don't.
Some of us do.
But there's a very clever human being behind it, or actually a lot of clever human beings behind it.
Yes.
And so that's the idea of the podcast.
Okay, so you're going behind the scenes to expose those people and better understand.
Correct, because I think it's important for this stories not to be lost, right? I have one podcast, for example, with Mark Ravenhill, another one with David March, who have been in that period of lighting, for example, when DMX got integrated.
Sure.
Who went from one type of desk to another type of light, so moving lights coming to space.
Yes.
And then, discharge, and then LED. And so those stories are important to know, because the only way that we're actually going to be able to make better products in the future is by understanding how things were made in the past.
Yes, love it. I love it. Is there anything that you've learned by creating this podcast, and was there anything that was unexpected?
Unexpected everything. So the first question that I ask everybody is, what did you want to be when you were 5 years old?
Okay.
Because there's not a single person that does the job that we do that knew what this meant to be when you were 5 years old.
Yes.
So everyone had a completely different dream, right?
Yes.
And some people wanted to be a truck driver. Another person wanted to be a Marine. Another one who I love says that if everything had gone correctly, he will now be a failed pop star.
Right.
Which is, I think it allows us to meet these people, but also to understand their stories. How many of the things that they have done have actually advanced the world that we live in today? One of them is one of the reasons why we have virtual studios.
Yes.
He was one of the pioneers in putting all this data together, and so it's really important to see. I have one character, Gio Staiano, who is a photographer who shot pictures for the New York Times for fashion.
Really?
Right? But he will have main covers of the newspaper, but you would never have an idea that he existed.
Yes.
You never knew that he had to climb through 5 cases and jump around and be on one to take that beautiful picture, right? That doesn't exist. And so having that idea is the idea behind Glyph.
I love that. I will be your next subscriber, that's for sure. And in your opinion, why are events like ISE so important and worth attending?
I think that the biggest problem that we have sometimes, and when we go to social media, is the silo in which we fall in, right?
Yes.
So I would never go into hole 2.
Right.
I would probably stay in hole 6 or 7.
Yes.
And never
what
come
about
to
8?
the other side.
8.1?
8.1, yes, yes. The forgotten toys, as we call them. But, it's like, you will never go to those places. You will never see other types of technology that could influence the way that you design or the way that you do your work. And so having shows that are this size, having shows that combine so many different industries, allows you to see something outside the box of what you would usually try to see. Yesterday, for example, I went to a booth and I learned about electronic ink.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen that before?
I hadn't seen it in the way that they had done it.
Right.
And immediately I thought, oh my God, for some of the things that we do, that they're asking us to be energy efficient. but don't have to run video,
Yeah,
but can run
that's
just
right.
and that's a perfect
product.
solution.
Yeah, I
you know?
agree.
And so these
Love
are
it.
the kind of things that you walk away and you go, okay, that's clever for the next design, or that's clever for that thing. And sometimes there's people coming into me and saying, have you seen anything interesting? And I think, for me, no, but for you, there's this other thing that I've seen.
Right.
And then you join the dots for everybody else.
I love it. I actually take the opposite approach. I never walk into Hall 8.1 or the others, right? But you know what? I'm about to change. I'm a change man, and I'm actually going to take your advice, and I'm going to embrace new experiences.
Just remember, like Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror.
Love it. Love it. I love it. All right, Tupac, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
At Victor TV in our virtual production studio.